Well, hey there, ladies. Today, we are talking about how to ensure that you are appropriately compensated for the work that you do. Now, it's no surprise. We have a gender pay gap in America, not just in America, but all around the world, and it varies. The pay gap varies by the company that you work in, the state that you live in, the race that you identify with. There is a lot of variation, and there are so many factors that go into running these statistics and coming out with the numbers. But just so you know, as of 2018, a white woman on average made 79 cents to a white man's $1. Black women earned 62 cents to that same $1. Hispanic and Latino women, 54 cents, and Native American women, 57 cents to that $1 that their white male counterpart earned. Here's the deal. I've spent way too long being discouraged by these statistics. And although statistics are just a number, what you can't put a number to is our experience as women in the workplace. It can be tough to pull your shoulders back and keep your chin up when you just feel like you're constantly being demeaned or looked down on or seen as less than. I'll give you an example. My father went to an executive board meeting and the COO walks in and one of the gentlemen who was not a part of the company asked her to get him a cup of coffee. Okay, so that speaks to the implicit bias that I think a lot of us all have, and that's a tough one to fight. I'll give you another example. One of my family members had to fight so hard for her salary that she got. And it wasn't until she compared her salary with her male counterpart, who was hired as the exact same job role, same experience, and lived in an area with substantially lower costs of living. He was hired on for more than $2,600 a month than my family member. And it wasn't until she brought this to the attention of her supervisor that she finally got the raise that she deserved. So today I want to talk to you and give you some tips and tricks on how not to fall into this trap, how to not become a part of the systemic racism that has not only been implemented in businesses, but also in the individual. So this fight starts with you, sis. So I've got some tips and tricks that are going to ensure that you get paid what you deserve. First things first, you have to know what you're being measured on. So when you start a job, you must talk to your manager and have a straightforward conversation about what are these objective measures. Okay, I want you to write them down. And then you have to stay focused on that because it can be really easy to be like, oh, well, I'm really good at this one thing. I'm going to take on this extra project and have that not ever matter because you were never being measured on that. So you have to know what you're being measured on, and that starts with a conversation with your manager. Once you know what you are being measured on, then you need to get it all in writing and follow up on those action items every single conversation with your manager. Being proactive is the most important part about getting a promotion or a raise that you want to get. First of all, you have to know what you want. So if you want a raise, then figure out how to get it. Find those objective measures and figure out exactly what it's going to take to get to X, Y, and Z. The best way to do this is, again, having that conversation with your manager and agreeing upon if I do this, this, and this, then I can expect a promotion by this time. If you can both agree on that, then you know exactly what you need to work on and you can stay focused and objective in your pursuit of your goal. Once you've identified what you want and the objective measures that your manager is going to be grading you on, then you need to create a performance review folder. This is where every conversation that you have, you get it in writing and you put it in this performance review folder. At the end of every month, take your metrics. If you're in sales, take your numbers, however you're sort of scored in your company. At the end of each month, you've got to put it in your year-end review folder. Now, every shout out you get, big or small, all of it's got to go in the folder. My dad says if you can do 3 things right for a company, then you should be set up for a good promotion. So make sure that you have like a few major things that you have done to benefit your company, and that it's all right there in the folder and you're ready to go into your next conversation with your manager. The single most important part of my career development has been having several great business mentors that I look up to. I call it my executive board. And I know it sounds ridiculous because it is. It's so funny to call it that, but the truth is, it's like, first of all, I'm lucky. My father is a wonderful friend and mentor of mine. Now, I recognize that not everybody has that. Your family members may not be your built-in mentors. The important thing is that you find your mentors. So for me, I have 3 people, all right? One is my dad. One is Ivan Farber, who I do this podcast, this other show with. It's called Conversations About Conversations. He also wrote a wonderful book that I encourage you to check out. It has totally changed my business game. He's a wonderful mentor. And then I have my like real true mentor, who she's amazing. I look up to her. I want what she has. And I call on those 3 because I know that they have my back and I know that they have good advice to give me. I look up to them. And I know that whenever I'm in a sticky situation, I can call any one of them and receive good advice. You also need to know what the salary bandwidth is. So if you know you want to get promoted in a year, then you've got to understand and be asking the right questions to know what your salary bandwidth is, meaning they usually pay between $60,000 and $65,000 based off of your experience, for example. So if that's the salary bandwidth, you need to know where you reasonably fall in that salary bandwidth. Understand that they're always going to lowball you. So whenever you go into a conversation about some sort of raise, promotion, or job offer, they're going to try to pay you less because the entire goal of a company is to get the most productivity out of the least amount of money. And that's just the way the machine operates. That doesn't really have a lot to do with gender. That's kind of how all companies are. But as women, we have an especially hard time requesting more. It's so uncomfortable for us. But I'm here to teach you exactly how to do that and how to be evidence-based, backed by data, and request what you deserve. So you've identified what you want, you know what you are objectively measuring, you've identified at least 1 or 2 good mentors who you trust. The next part is having early, frequent, and consistent communication with your manager. The most important thing about your conversations with your manager is asking the right questions. So here's some good questions to ask. What am I doing well? What can I be doing better? And is there any reason right now that you would not promote me? Those are 3 great questions that I'm always asking, because if you can figure out what their hesitations are ahead of time, then you can address them and move forward. You don't want any surprises at the end of the year. The next thing that we have to learn to do is recognize when a situation is negotiable. Let me tell you, a situation is always negotiable. Managers or management will always come to you and just tell you what they're offering you. But that does not mean that it's non-negotiable. You should always assume that a situation is negotiable. This takes some preparation and some planning. This takes knowing what the salary bandwidth is. This takes 100,000 conversations prior to this final negotiation. And you have to go in there knowing what your end goal is. So they're going to come to you and just tell you what they're offering you. And then you have to come back and say, well, this is what I'm requesting. And here's my supporting documentation based off of what my, year-end review folder looks like. Now, understand, negotiations are uncomfortable, like for everyone. But as women, we were never taught to negotiate. We were taught to just accept whatever we can get and be really grateful for it. And I am here to tell you, my sisters, that is not at all what we should be doing. And I know it's hard to like unlearn all of these implicit things that we've been taught all the way through school and then in college and then into your career. It's tough, but I encourage you to just leave it at the door. Ignore these things that you've been taught and ignore your discomfort. Understand that it's always uncomfortable advocating for yourself and for your pay, but it's the only way to get what you want. If you don't ask, that's what you're going to get is nothing. If you say nothing, you're going to get nothing. So be ready to go, come prepared, and understand that management will probably push back on you. If you're not getting pushed back on, you are probably not trying hard enough. So it's a good sign. Like if you throw out a number and they're like, whoa, 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 you should just give yourself a little pat on the back. Okay, I'm doing good. I'm negotiating. Here we go. That's exactly what I want for you. When they push back on you, typically they say, well, this is the offer that we give to everyone. And that's, I've heard it before. So when they say that to you, you say, okay, I understand that. Here's my supporting documentation as to why I fall on the, upper end of that bell curve. You have to understand how you compare to your counterparts. So this is another thing that requires research, preparation, and constant communication with your manager. If you know you are an above average performer, then you know that you deserve to be paid above average. Now, a true negotiator, and this is the hard part, ladies, is you have to be willing to walk if you don't get what you deserve. You are a free agent. It's not just about this one company. It's about you and your skill set. And trust me, you can take your skills elsewhere and be paid accordingly. So I want you to really console within yourself and agree within yourself that you will walk if you don't get paid what you deserve, or if you don't get what you are reasonably requesting. I'm not saying just like be frivolous and ask, for a crazy amount of money. It all has to be backed by data, by numbers, and by everything that you've done and saved into your folder. But understand that if at the end of the day, they just aren't willing to do that, then you have to be willing to take your talents elsewhere. This comes with a huge amount of confidence because remember, your company doesn't define you. Your work doesn't define you. And it's all about the skill set that you have. So if you're in sales and you're doing really well and your company isn't paying you what you deserve, I promise you can go be successful at another company because you have a skill set. So that comes with, taking a minute to find your inner confidence and to recognize that you are a sovereign and a free individual, and this company is not probably the last place you're going to work. So be willing to walk. Oftentimes when management sees that you're willing to walk, they may come back to you and say, okay, we'll give you what you want. We don't want to lose you because you're bringing in this amount of revenue into the company. Now, when it comes down to it, there's one of two outcomes. They either pay you what you deserve, they give you what you want, a promotion, a raise, whatever, or they don't, okay? And recognize that either one of those things is meant to be. Because if you're at a company that isn't willing to pay you what you deserve, then that's not the right company to be at, sis. Walk away, go take your talents to South Beach, as my mentor Ivan Farber always says. Go take your talents somewhere else. And then if they do give it to you, then that should reassure you that you are working at a company that values you. Then you gotta go work your ass off, girl, and show them exactly why they gave you that raise and prove to them that you are as valuable as you're saying that you are. All right, sister, I hope you feel encouraged by this video. That has been my goal. I want you to walk away knowing exactly how to get what you deserve. Knowing that you are absolutely valid in asking for more, that you belong exactly where you are, and you have every right to request more. So in conclusion, to wrap up everything that we talked about, you first have to identify exactly what you want. Then you need to know what you're being measured on. Then you need to find a mentor who will continuously hone in and help you build your skill set. Next, it takes constant, frequent, and consistent communication with your manager about your raise. And you have to ask the right questions. Those questions are, how am I doing? What can I be doing better? And is there any reason why you wouldn't give me the promotion or the raise that I'm looking for? The next step is recognizing when a situation is negotiable. All conversations about your pay are negotiations. It's simple. You have to just assume it's negotiable, and you have to be prepared and ready to negotiate. Also understand that negotiating is super uncomfortable. So lean into that. When you feel uncomfortable, you can just say to yourself, okay, I'm uncomfortable right now. Like, I'm recognizing that I feel uncomfortable, but I'm not going to back down. I am going to stay right here, and I'm going to look this person in the eye, and I'm going to continue to advocate for myself. Now, you have to be any true negotiation, you have to be willing to walk if they don't give you what you know that you deserve. This comes with confidence. Again, I want to remind you that you are not your job. You have a skill set that is valuable to many, many companies. So if this company isn't willing to pay you what you know you deserve, then it's not the right company for you, sis. No harm, no foul. Leave, go find a better company. Take your talents to South Beach. You know, it's not as scary as it seems. And then if they do give you your promotion, take that, girl, and run with it. Go work your ass off. Go make a bunch of money and kill your career. The last thing I want for you and for me is to feel resentful, is to feel walked on, and this is avoidable. We don't have to feel that way, and we do not have to be a part of the statistics. We are sovereign individuals, and this fight starts with us. So I hope these tips and tricks gave you everything that you need to advocate for yourself in your career. If you ever have any questions, need advice, know that I'm available here for you. So lean on me, reach out, know that I'm here for you, and I am encouraging you every single step of the way. Women are amazing. Women offer unique and powerful value to every single company, and businesses need women. All right? I'll say it again. Businesses need women, and they need you. All right? So keep that head up, shoulders back, and fight the good fight, ladies.